Hi friends, I'm Cassandra with Benchmark Boutique. I'm happy to be crafting with you today. We're going to be making this Morel SVG file. If you don't have your file downloaded already, you can find them on Etsy as well as Teacher Pays Teachers under the shop name Benchmark Boutique. Once you get your file downloaded, go ahead, get your cardstock collected or whatever material you're cutting, and go ahead, use your cutting machine, get the materials cut out, and then join me for the next step. I used a variety of cardstocks. I have several shades of brown, as well as a canvas textured golden color that I used for the very top layer of the SVG. Use whatever colors you like. There's not a wrong answer. This is your project. Be as creative as you wish. If you need time to get your materials cut out, now is a great time to pause the video. The other supplies that you will need to complete this project once you've cut out your materials are some sort of adhesive. I used this Elmer's glue all, just a basic glue, a sponge applicator, and a pair of crafting tweezers. You probably have something similar that you can use. Use whatever adhesive works for your project. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. All right, so let's start assembling our file. All right, so you should have already cut your materials. This is a preview of what it looked like when I was cutting mine. I did it on a Cricut. It works fine on the Silhouette as well. We test cut there. Just the one that I'm using for the video was done on the Cricut. Really do a nice job taking it off the mat. You're going to use a lot of adhesive to make it stick because this is a fine kind of lacy design, especially the topmost layers. So if it didn't curl a little bit, maybe you had a brand new mat and it stuck and it started to curl a little bit when you removed it, don't sweat it, because when you put that glue on, you're going to end up gluing the whole thing. All right, so I'm fast forwarding through this because you don't need to see me do every drop of glue in real time. Make sure you are putting the glue on the right side of your layer. I'm sure we can all recall a craft that we've done before where after we did all the work of cutting it out on our machine, we forgot to flip it over and put the glue on the wrong side. So, you know, that old adage, measure twice, cut once. Same thing applies here, except it's with our glue instead of the cutting. Make sure you spread the glue evenly around the surface. You want every little square millimeter to have adhesive on it because this is a delicate mushroom cap with lots of nooks and crannies. And we have each layer is a little bit more delicate as we go up. We want to make sure everything sticks so that the next layer will stick as well, and that there's nothing that's going to peel up around the edges. And once you get it lined up, I like to use a liquid because it is a little forgiving. So if you didn't line it up just perfect, you can still move it before the liquid dries. Once I got to the second layer and the topmost layer, I stopped putting the glue directly onto the cardstock and started putting it on the sponge. I just found that it was so delicate. Getting the drop to stay on those finer areas just wasn't ideal. So again, make sure you spread the glue everywhere. Line it up as best you can, pat it down, and then make sure all the edges line up. If you have any curling happening or edges that aren't quite down, here's the opportunity to go through and do some touch-ups to make sure that the file is looking nice and tidy. And finally, you have your topmost layer. This is the trickiest. Again, make sure you're putting the glue on the correct side, flip it over. Yep, got the right side. Again, I'm putting the glue directly onto the sponge applicator to allow for easier application of the adhesive. And even with the sponge applicator, a little bit drip through to the other side. Not to worry though, especially if you're using the same glue as I am, it will dry clear, so it's not a big deal. Make sure that you are spreading that glue evenly and getting all the way to the edges. And once you have that done, you're going to go ahead and apply that very top layer of the mushroom cap. It's really nice, makes it pop. I really liked using the canvas textured cardstock for this. It gave it this very organic, bumpy feel that just added to the natural feeling of this design. Check your edges, make sure everything is firmly glued down. Add adhesive where you need to, and then onto the stem. I'm doing the darker layer first so that it's creating the illusion of depth and shadow. Once again, you want to spread the glue all the way out to the edges. I recommend being generous with the glue, but not in excess, because too much you can get some curling of the paper happening if it gets a little too damp. Get those edges lined up. I flipped it over to make sure the edges lined up just so, and use the tweezers to help move at the edge just a little bit. Line up that top layer, and we are just about done with our lovely morel mushroom. And here we are. Morel season in the craft studio. No need to go foraging. You have your very own right here. Well done. You have a lovely morel. I hope you enjoyed putting your morel together. I had a lovely time crafting with you today. Until next time when we craft again, I'm Cassandra with Benchmark Boutique.